Hello, and thanks for joining me on this episode of Simply Saturday, where I get to show you a card that is fast and easy to make. My name is Julie, and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and I enjoy our Saturday series so much. I really like bringing these easy and fast cards to you each week. Thank you so much to those of you who loyally watch. I really appreciate you coming back. And if this is your first time here, welcome as well. And I hope you find something here that you enjoy watching as well. So today's card is a fun fold of sort, but it is very simple. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make. The stamp set that I'm using is this one called Hello Harvest. This is in the July to December of 2022 mini catalog. And the paper that goes with it, which I'm a big fan of, is called Rustic Harvest. And I just couldn't wait to use this black background with the gourds and the pumpkins. I really like it a lot. So let's get started. I'll tell you what you need to make this card, and we will get it made start to finish. All right, so the first thing that you're going to need is a piece of black cardstock. And this is a piece that is 5.5 by 8.5. And we're going to make a couple of score marks on this. You can pull out your Simply Scored board, which is typically what I do to do my scoring. But since I'm doing it here on camera, I will use my trimmer with the scoring blade. I'm sliding the cutting blade out of the way. This here is the scoring blade. So we're going to score it at 2 1/8 of an inch on this side. And then I'm going to put the other end of the paper and score it at 2 1/8 as well. So it's just easy to only have to remember one measurement. So there it's scored at 2 1/8 from each side. All right. Then we're going to need a couple of other pieces of paper. I have a piece of white cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4. This is actually going to be the inside panel of my card. I have 2 pieces of Cajun Craze, and I really love this color, and especially for fall. It's not a color that I use very often, or maybe you don't either. But when it's time to use it, it's just so pretty. So your Cajun Craze piece is 2 inches by 5 1/4, and you'll need 2 of those. Then we have our Designer Series paper. This is cut 1 3/4 by 5. I'm going to double check that. Yes. So you'll need 2 of those, 1 3/4 by 5. Then I have a scrap of white. This is going to be for stamping and die cutting. And you need a piece that's about 3 or 4 inches long. Yeah, about 4 inches long and maybe about 2 inches wide, only so that it can fit our die. Then I have a piece of Mossy Meadow. And this piece I went ahead and cut with the Stitched Shapes dies. They are a set of retired dies. If it is not a set of dies that you own, you can certainly use a circle punch, a circle from Layering Circles, one of those dies would work. The newer die sets like Stylish Shapes, that has a circle. So anything, and this is about, let me give you an idea what size of a circle you're going to want. It's about 2 1/4 inches. All right. It doesn't have to be super precise. And as I mentioned, I cut that already out of Mossy Meadow. All right. So we are going to do some attaching of our papers here. Then we'll do our stamping. I'm going to take those score marks that I made and just reinforce those folds. I really like the black background on these papers too. And anytime you're using black and white, it kind of gives it at least that chalkboard effect. We're not doing anything that is like a chalkboard technique, but just the black and the white And especially with that soft background there, it does kind of have a chalkboard feel. All right, this piece is going to go inside, but we are going to do some stamping on it, so let's wait to attach that one. So we're going to put now the designer series paper onto the Cajun Craze. I don't know if you've seen me do a video with this paper before, but in that other video I mentioned that the backs of each of these papers are black and white. So I'm kind of liking that because I think that even after fall and Thanksgiving, that I can continue to use these papers, but perhaps on the other side. All right, so, and the paper is kind of all directional. So once you have your strips, you can decide which way you want it to go. So like on this one, I'm gonna have it face this way. I've got a gourd or a pumpkin coming in from the side. This one is right side up, that one's upside down. It doesn't really matter because it is all directional. Or maybe I should say it's not directional. Directional would indicate that it has a direction. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Okay, so I've got my liquid glue on the back of this piece and I'm attaching it to the Cajun Craze. And then I'll determine which side I want up and which side I want down. I think I'm going to go this way. Okay, now we're going to take those and attach them to the flaps on our black card base. So at this point, you could use whatever adhesive you have or whichever is your favorite. Stampin' Seal would be great. You could also use tear and tape. All right, only because I find this a little bit awkward, I'm going to open my card out like this. And I find it's a little bit easier to do my placement. Now I'm working with a black card base on a black mat. It's a little bit hard for my eyes to focus. Let me pull in a white scrap paper here because I want to line up my margins. I think I can get that a little better. Okay, I should have put the white paper underneath first so I could see as I was laying that down, but it's going to be fine. Okay, and our second side. And same thing, I just kind of like having this flat and not all folded up. And now I can see my black margins a little bit better. Okay, but we are not going to be overly worried that that one isn't quite perfect, right? It happens. Okay, so we're going to do our stamping and then, oh, there's one more piece of paper that I didn't tell you about. So let me tell you about that now. That is another strip of Cajun Craze. This piece is 1 inch by 10 inches. This is going to be for our belly band, all right? So we're gonna do our stamping, then we'll create our belly band. So this is the inside panel of the card. And I'm just going to put a couple of little leaves on here from our stamp set. So I'm using Mossy Meadow ink. And I am already aware that my Mossy Meadow Stampin' Pad here needs to be re-inked. So I'm kind of taking advantage of the fact that it's a little light. This green can be quite dark. And then I'm going to do a second leaf without re-inking. So I get a dark and a light leaf. Okay, that's it for that. It almost looks like garden green right now, only because this is in need of some re-inking. All right, and then on that scrap, we're going to stamp this stamp with the words, the banner. It says, wishing you the loveliest day, and I'm going to use black ink. So I have my Tuxedo Black Memento pad. This is a newish stamp set to me, and I have yet to put the labels on my stamps, so that's why the sticker is not on there. Sometimes I never even get around to it. What about you? Do you always put the labels on? Or sometimes not? All right, so once this has been stamped on your scrap of white, then it needs to get die cut. This is the die that we're going to use, and I've actually gone ahead and prepared that ahead of time so that you don't have to wait for me to cut that out. Okay, so I'm going to put the inside panel in my card. Today is October 1st, which is actually World Card Making Day. So I'm so happy to be making a card, and I hope that you will make a card or several today in honor of World Card Making Day. I also am having a large event at my house today, an open house event, where there will be stamping and all kinds of things to do and see and try and buy. Okay, so there's the inside panel of the card. And now we're going to create the belly band. So instead of doing any scoring on the belly band, I really prefer to just fold it around the card. So I'm just laying it down. I'm going to center my card on top of it. Again, I'm kind of using my grid, but I'm kind of eyeballing it. I'm going to hold my card down tightly and pull this side up. So see that little crease right there? To me, that works better on a belly band than actually putting score lines, having to measure and put score lines. Then I'm holding this side down. And also by doing this, wrapping it around the card, it's giving a little extra wiggle room in that crease so that our band will be able to slide on and off the card. Now I'm going to line these up. See, that's how I want it to be. So I'm going to get a couple pieces of tear and tape. And I'm going to seal the belly band to itself. So the way I like to do it is to put a piece on this end. Ooh, that's a little long. There we go. And see, this is going to go down like that. So then I'm going to also put a piece on this end. I eyeballed those and they were just both a smidge too long. All right, that way when this flap comes over, it's going to seal to that piece of tape, and it's also going to seal here. So it's going to be nice and snug. I like it. All right, so I'm going to release the backings. Now I've got that little bit stuck to me. And when I fold it up, I'm just going to take care that I line up the Cajun Craze band to itself before I stick it. There we go. All right, stuck and stuck. Okay, not hard at all. The next step is to attach our Mossy Meadow circle. This is going to go right there, and it's going to cover the seam of that belly band. So you could apply adhesive to this piece if you want. You just have to be really careful because we only want it attached to the Cajun Craze belly band. So rather than doing that, I'm going to put my adhesive on the band itself. I am going to continue using tear and tape because the belly band itself is going to be sliding on and off the card. And whenever I have things that are moving around, I really want them to be stuck down well. So this is about the strongest adhesive we can get. You could use your Stampin' Seal Plus, that would also be a good choice. But the tear and tape is my choice for today. Okay, so now that circle is going to just fit. And it's nice because you've got this middle here that kind of serves as a vertical for your eyes. And it's fairly easy to place that circle right in the middle. Okay, and again, it's only attached to the band. All right, with this little piece that we've stamped and die cut, I want to add a little bit of color. Now, the color in the paper is crushed curry, and we don't offer a set of Stampin' Blends in crushed curry, so I just went for my Daffodil Delight, and this is going to work just fine. So I'm actually going to do the light and the dark, and I only want like a hint of color on this. I don't want to color the whole thing. So this is the way I chose to do it. I'm going to go around the outline. This is with my light Daffodil Delight, and I'm letting that color fall just inside the black outline. So I'm going to do that all the way around, just adding that hint of color. And then we're going to accentuate it a teeny bit with the darker Daffodil Delight marker. Okay, so I am letting that color fall inside the lines just a little bit. And then, oh, I missed this side. Okay, then we'll finish it with our dark. Okay, so you can see it's just a hint of color, almost as if it's kind of yellowed or faded. All right, then I'm going to take the dark Daffodil Delight, and now I'm going to go with the bullet end, and as lightly and carefully as I can, I'm almost trying to mimic the black outline. So you can see that it's still giving me a haze of the yellow, but I'm just accentuating it a teeny bit. Come in here. These little curly folds are kind of the easiest part because it gives you exactly where you need to go. Okay, and then carefully here, just adding that dark barely near the black line. I don't want to cover up my soft yellow. Then at that point, you can decide if you're happy with it or if you need to do any touch-up, which I'm going to do a teeny bit. I'm just going to bring that yellow back in and soften a couple of these areas where it got a little bit dark. This is the nice thing about the Stampin' Blends, is you can kind of drag the color and it really creates a soft look when you want it to. All right, there we go. Let's stop with the coloring and add this piece. This is going to go right on the center. Isn't that lovely? All right, same thing. I could guess and put adhesive here, but I only want it to end up in the right place. So I'm going to put adhesive on the center of this banner. And place it right in the middle of my green circle. And what's really helpful about this is the banner actually, I still have that little bit of tear and tape stuck to me. The sides of the banner here and here actually line up with the sides of my circle. So that kind of made it nice. If your circle was a little smaller, that might not be the case. All right, and then the last thing that I want to bring in, this is a embellishment that is in the July to December mini catalog. It's called Leaf Label and Amber Gem Combo. So I actually haven't even used any of these leaves yet. I am looking forward to. They are punched at the top like a tag or a label. And then this beautiful amber colored gem I just think is so pretty. And there's not really this color represented, but I feel like it hints at it between the Cajun Craze and the crushed curry, and it's definitely fall-ish. So on this one, I'm going to use 2 of the smaller gems, and I'm going to put them on the ends of the stamped banner. And I'll bring in that other card, and I put the gem here instead, so you can see 2 different versions, and you can do yours the way that you like it the best. So there it is, very simple but beautiful and a fun fold. The belly band slides off, and then the card can be opened. I needed to slide that on and off maybe 1 or 2 times. There you have it. All right, and then let me bring in the other one so you can see the placement of the other gem if you like it better. And that is this one. I just did one right in the bottom center just for a little bit of bling. Thank you so much for watching today. I do want to mention that in the description below this video, and how you get there is by clicking on the word more. The window will open and there will be a lot of information in there for you. A host code that you can use if you would like to place an order. And if you would like to place an order, I appreciate it so much. It really helps me keep going. And also you'll find a shopping list with all of the products that I used today, as well as the dimensions and how to cut your paper and so forth. So do be sure to open up that description box, find all of that wonderful extra information that I have there for you. And until I see you next time, be well and happy stamping.